Hello everyone, WhitehouseFilms here. So today is not going to be a workbench video right now, because I'm just currently about to start filming a new workbench video right now, and I thought I'd take this time to do this little message here, which is a bit of a little farewell video for a particular item in a particular brand that pretty much inspired me to get into railway modelling in the first place, and that is of course the Hornby Thomas tank engine range. Now, I've seen over the years now, there's been quite a few model railway videos that I've seen where people have used either a Hornby Thomas or a Bachmann one for their model railway, and people have their own, ideas as to what was the best version for Thomas model railways, and most people will say the Bachmann ones because it portrays more of the TV series, whereas some people would say, oh, I prefer the Hornby one because it portrays the characters how they should look in the railway series, or how they look in the real world. To me personally, I really don't mind whichever brand comes into mind, but Hornby's brands seem to stick more to me than Bachmann does, because I pretty much grew up with this brand at a young age. In fact, my first ever Hornby train set was actually a Clockwork Thomas one. And if you remember my Q&A video, in the Q&A section I actually told a wee story about how that train set came to be and how it sadly didn't last very long. But it was the starting point of my future in railway modelling and also collecting Hornby Thomas trains. I didn't get my proper Hornby Thomas until I think probably my 7th birthday, my 6th or my 7th birthday, when my dad brought home on his way home from work, he popped into the store Argos and bought me the Thomas and Percy electric train set. And I was so thrilled to get that train set because I think that was pretty much the biggest set you can get in the Thomas and Friends Hornby brand, Hornby range. And so I was thrilled to bits with it. And so I really wanted to build a Thomas model railway at some point. And when I started building my first layout, even though it originally was set out to be a Harry Potter themed layout, I sort of tried to do some ways of maybe making my own Thomas layout at some point, and then that sort of resulted in me making the Firecore branch line. So I actually have a lot to thank Hornby for producing the brand, and even though they've made the brand for a good number of years now, I think probably way over 30 years now, it still kept my interest in the brand, and I just really like the designs really in terms of why I prefer Hornby than Bachmann. I think maybe the real reason I like it more is just because I got to know it more. I grew up with it more, and I just, in just my own personal views, I just thought this is how I would like Thomas to look like in model railway form. I mean, yes, it doesn't. It looks a bit long. He looks too long, and it's not the right color, but it feels like Thomas to me, really. It kind of does. Because I mean, I know Hornby did like a small 040 version of Thomas, and yes, they also did the Clockwork versions later on in the early 2000s, and but that didn't really matter that much to me, really, because I still deep down, I actually still think that this was the Thomas for me that I wanted to have for my model railways. And so when I heard the news shortly after I got back from my last model show, I was quite surprised, the Hornby were going to stop producing the brand. But I would actually like to say, right out to Hornby, I fully respect the choice you made, but I don't know whether or not it was a good idea to discontinue the brand or not, because this particular franchise that you brought into your brand actually helped me get into model railways in the first place. So how's that gonna happen for the future generations of the brand? How are you going to get children involved with model railways without Thomas to help out? Don't forget, the Reverend Audrey actually tried for years to get you guys to make models of his engines, which pretty much resulted in the Meccano Percy train set being made up. But when Bridlecroft produced the TV series, that sort of got you guys' attention. So it's pretty much got the brand on the way. But I really loved this brand, these models, this model range growing up, and it's a bit sad seeing it go. And but I actually like to look back on the happy memories that it's left me, you know, from starting off my first train set to actually becoming a bit of a railway modeler fan buff to actually try and make replicas of the original Thomas engines, but using the Hornby as the starting point for it all, just to get me going. So, in fact, there's actually a funny story I actually want to say here before I finish off this video. During my last model railway show, there was an exhibitor, so there was a model railway club that was exhibiting next to me, and one of them came over to my layout, and she was very impressed with it all, and she asked a few questions and all as to how each train was operated and what all the scenery was all made up. And she pretty much liked the idea of having a Thomas layout of some sort. And so when I went off to get myself a cup of tea, I came back and the club had literally just come back from purchasing a Hornby Thomas train set just to run their layout, because they were sort of that gripped just to want to have a Thomas for their own layout, because they didn't have it. This is their first time actually having a Thomas. And so I saw them unpacking this brand new train set, just one of the brand new ones that Hornby made, and they had it all set up, and they had Thomas running around the layout. It was very, very nice indeed there, really nice indeed, and all the kids and all got their attention. They were all like saying, "Oh, look, it's Thomas! It's wonderful! It's great!" And I thought, that's pretty cool. That's really nice. You know, it just shows you how much of a big impact that these little trains have actually made young fans of Thomas and out there. And I don't know what the future is going to be for Thomas and model railway terms. I don't know whether or not will Bachmann bring their range into the UK, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see here. I know that they've done the large scale stuff in the UK, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with their HO models. But yeah, once this range is now gone at the end of the year, it's going to be quite hard now for some railway modelers to try and find a Thomas for their model railways, or for their grandchildren out there, for just to run when they come to visit their layouts. But Hornby had a good run. Fully respect your choices that you made, but I don't know if the time was right yet. I think maybe you could have stuck around a bit more longer. But that's only my personal thoughts. Okay, guys, thanks very much for tuning in, and thank you very much, Hornby, for pretty much nearly 26 years of interest in Hornby Railways. Thanks again.